As a country, as we all know, we are looking for a change, a hope, a country that eradicates racism and unites the communities and also celebrates the diversity of the country. While the private sector puts a lot of efforts, I think the efforts by the government thus far has not been enough. So that is where I think this recognition events and the participation of the governments and the efforts at a national level is quite important to drive these initiatives forward. Whilst we have to recognize that there are issues, both structural and social, for us to integrate and also to include people who are marginalized and communities which are not part of the economy together. We need to understand that the smallest efforts that you guys are doing are making a significant impact both in Sri Lanka and in the world. So whilst there are so many inclusions, today I thought I would talk a little bit about persons with disabilities and how we can integrate them into our economic sphere. So for the first time in the country, I think a political party has put up a manifesto, a special manifesto, a promise to the country to bring in a policy for persons with disabilities. I think that is a great victory as a nation. For us, at least there is a written document that we can look forward to. And in that policy, it's been elaborated very clearly that the right for education, right for employment, right for transportation, and right for public sector access being the core values or the principles of the policy. And again, in the principles, it is very clearly articulated that CRPD compliant legal structure, Sri Lanka needs that, and then ensuring the government mechanisms are aligned to these inclusions or the changes that we need to happen, and then participatory decision making. Again, I am proud to be a member of a government where we have the first person with visually impaired parliamentary member in the Sri Lankan Parliament, Mr. Sugat Wasantha. And that is a great achievement as a country as well. And then the accessibility and the sensitive communication, and again, lastly, about the partnerships, which is what we are seeing today. So so I thought of sharing one of my own experiences with you so that I have the ability to talk about this particular topic. So whilst I was working for a large corporate for 16 years, which I'm still proud that I work for MS Holdings, who upheld diversity, inclusion, and women empowerment as a key strategy and a key initiative for them to go forward. So in 2014, I was leading one of the functions called People Analytics, which was the first, I think, at that time. And there was a boy who came through with a CV through our director, and at our exco, she asked who would please look at this boy and see what we can do. So his name was Divaka Gunathilaka. He was a bright employee of a particular organization, a marketing manager, who unfortunately had to go through a stroke and lost some of his capabilities or abilities to work as as he was used to be. So he lost his speech ability, he lost his confidence, and he was looking for a role in our organization. And I was fortunate to put my hand up and take Divaka into my team. And people were wondering how such a person would work in an analytics function, a function where you need to work with a lot of numbers, communicate with people, and influence people to make changes. But Divaka was up to the challenge. We were up to the challenge. It was quite tough at the beginning. So we gave him small tasks, but he became a master at Power BI and some of the Excel skills as the time went on. Then we had to slowly help him to kind of work with the teams and communicate. So he, over the period of time, improved his speech. And there were a lot of hand-holding we had to do. I had to mentor the rest of the team because some felt it was a burden. And then there had to be special attention given to Divaka to make his journey forward. But I'm happy to say, after that, he championed the entire organization, became a mentor to rest of the communities to drive diversity and inclusion. And today, he's still happily working in that organization. So what I'm trying to say is it's not an easy task. I know that we take upon, we talk about it, we celebrate it, but even for an organization, it is quite difficult to integrate people with disabilities into your own organization, to give them accessibility, create work which is I would say, compatible to those people, and integrate them into a common day-to-day work life is a quite tough challenge. And while the private sector is trying to do it, while the chambers and we celebrate the efforts, there needs to be a cohesive strategy to ensure that we enable this particular community of our society, making them able and allowing them with technology and accessibility to ensure that they are part of our workforce. And I'm happy to say the current government also has a policy that we would thrive to employ 5% of the government workforce with persons with disabilities. And when it comes to the work, the organizations, it's quite important that you look at the unique job descriptions in your organization and redesign these jobs. What we generally do is try to integrate people into the existing jobs, existing roles. So this does not work either with persons with disabilities or in women in, when you are hiring women and other women into the organization as well, because we expect people to adjust to our ways of doing work. So if you really look at your jobs, there are certain jobs that you can redesign, recreate, and also there need to be a lot of effort to get away from stereotyping jobs. So this needs conscious effort and work. So I think going forward, I think as the Ministry of Industries, we have not put a lot of effort on this area, but even though we are part of the journey, so what from the minister's perspective and the ministry's perspective, what we can say is we will partner you all going forward and enabling the communities which have been marginalized and also deprived of the economic rights and also the social integration to be part of the growing economy of Sri Lanka and allow that contribution to be part of the journey that we are in. And I again lastly thank all of you who are gathered here, and I wish you an enjoyable evening, and thank you.